the 7th out here. Rained all night, and anyway, it's kind of cleared off a little bit. It's going to probably rain off and on today. But yesterday I made this guy, and yeah, I kind of like it. It's okay, I got to learn how to use it. I don't know whether, you know, those diamond pattern in there is supposed to actually move the metal up and down to shrink, or whether you just use that as a non-skid to try to work the metal in a certain direction. And I think that's what I'm going to try to do with it, unless I'm told otherwise. But yeah, it's all fixed up and it works well. Feels good. I did some shrinking here in that high spot. It's kind of wavy now, but there's no more high there, and I got no oil can or anything. And back here, same deal, and when I shrunk it here, it did in fact fix this low spot I had over here. So I'm pretty happy with all that. It's going to get some glass over the top, which will take care of the little waves. I cannot get behind there with the dolly. And over here it was really tough to get behind with the dolly, because I had to stick my arm through the gas well hole, you know, heat everything up, stick my arm through there with the dolly and try and smack it here. But it came out alright. I'm going to be able to glass that and fix it fine. So I'm not worried about it. I had some company out here, but I've had visitor now, and now in possession of engine lid here. Needs some work. It does, however, have the hinge prop bracket on it, which is usually gone, and a working latch. It has a patch in it right there, a little bit of Bondo. The hinge screw pieces are still intact. They need to be welded up, but yeah, I got that. And I got a set of 4 of these guys, which I don't know what brand. They're stamped 11/3 of 88, and they're made in USA. These center cap things are made in Taiwan, but the wheel itself is, see if we can, right there. And I don't know what brand or anything, like I said, but made in USA, 15x6. And they have a deep inner offset. I may put on the double cab. I bolted one of the wheels to the rear over here just to see what it looked like. And it, yeah, the inner offset is fine, not going to rub on anything. Depending on how large a tire, I may have trouble mounting them, because now I have the fender well back in place, and it's going to be close. I can get them up in there, but to get them bolted to the drum, I may end up having to jack up under the torsion bar down there and raise that drum up a bit because of the way it pivots. Jason brought him over trying to tempt me. He needs some parts, and kind of looked through the parts that he wanted, and then anyway, I had a drawer open and he spotted something else. A pair of little reflectors. They're about this big around. They go on early buses down below the little bubble tail lights. He needs a pair of those. So they were cracked lenses, which is the way they are. They're worth a lot of money, but you know, I didn't pay a lot of money for them anyway. So I went ahead and let those go. Hemming and hawing and that, this and that, that's kind of where I've been for a while. But got that done. And I've got this patch welded in solid all the way around now, so I got to grind that business and then begin trying to figure out how I'm going to get rid of this big old bow. I don't know if I'll be able to shrink that back flat. It's a pretty good size from about here to here, and I may end up having to cut this and pull it together and re-weld it, but I'm going to try it with the torch and the shrinking hammer and dollies and see what I can do. But first thing, got to grind this weld off for the last time, and then I'll come back to this. But anyway, I managed to get this completely welded and ground down here, so now I can commence to kind of trying to shrink that bow out of it. And I'm going to try to use the shrinking hammer. I ended up cutting those ears off the back of it. It's pretty light. It's pretty nice. And I'm going to give it a try. I figured I'd better show an in the interim kind of shot here. It's not real good contrast, but it's starting to come in pretty good, I think. I might get away with this shrinking business. We'll have to wait and see. It's really stretched out on that lip there. What I'm doing with this hammer is when I heat the area, I go around it and try and kind of I don't hit it flat. Well, I hit it flat, but I kind of pull towards the center all the way around and all the way around, work my way to the center and then cool it off, and it's shrinking up. And I've been also heating my weld area and pounding from behind back out because it was down a bit, so I'm taking some of it out there. I may get successful at this. It's a lot flatter than it was. It still has a lot of waves, but it's not bowed out nearly as much. So I'm going to continue at this and see what I can do. Well, at what point do you stop? I actually did a little epilogue here and showed it and called it quits. But you know, I'm looking at it and I'm still out just a tiny bit. I don't know if the contrast is worth anything, but it's still, I don't know, it's kind of got a little bit of an out just right in there, but the profile, I don't know if we'll be able to see it down the side. Before, it was bowed out between about here and here, about that far, stretched that far out, and I've got it back to, you know, I don't know if you can really see what I got going on. I mean, it's pretty nice, but can I live with it? I mean, when do you stop? When you start making it worse and worse? You know, this whole business from about here all the way back down to about here and clear back up almost to my patch was just like this, bowed out, and I've got it back flat, and it's a pretty nice edge. But still, right from here to about here, it's out maybe, I don't know, maybe an eighth, probably. I just don't know. Anyway, I'm fixing to get the blue wrench back out. You know, I just don't know. Anyway, I'll bring you back when I either make it worse or make it better. Yeah, I just started again. And I basically want to shrink from this spot, which I just did, to this spot. The only area that's out just a bit is this last inch, 3/4 to an inch, where the thing comes down and has that lip. And so anyway, here's how I'm going about it. I don't know if it's right or not, although this one I just did sucked it in pretty good. This was just stretched so bad. I'm very happy with what I've got, but it doesn't look exactly right, and it's going to bug the hell out of me if I don't make it a little bit flatter right there. So anyway, you know, I'm not going for perfect truck here, but that's going to bother me. I've got these dark goggles, but what I found is they're too dark to see what I'm doing. So I'll go ahead and use the clear ones, and I can kind of see. I just don't look right at the flame area while I'm heating it up. Anyway, so I got this spot here, so I'm just going to move over. I did this one, went to this end. I think I'll work end to end, move that stuff to the middle till I have one last place. And if I can't get the one last place out, then I'll just go ahead and cut that thing and flat it out and weld it back. But I think I can get it here. So anyway, I'm just heating up a little bitty spot, and then a line around the edge, that 90 degree, just like that. And I got this shrinking guy, and this dolly here, I'm using this flat edge up against the lip. And then I just kind of work it. Give it a couple smacks. And cool it off. And actually that worked pretty well. That's sucking that in. I don't care if it's a tiny bit in, because I can you know, fill it a little bit, but I cannot have it sticking out. I just can't. So anyway, that's working pretty good. And when I'm hammering, I got my dolly back there right up against the lip, and as I hit, I kind of push, trying to shove that stretched metal back towards the red spot. I'm just, as I go around the area, I kind of pull it towards the really hot spot, and then I hit it on the hot spot at the end. It seems to be working. I don't know if that's the way you're supposed to do this or not. I have no clue. You know, I'm just winging it, and I figure if I just keep trying over the years, I'll get better at it, till maybe someday I'll know if I knew what I was doing, I'd be far better at it. Anyway, so I got this spot, so I'll go next, just a little bit up. I'm not moving very far here. I'm going to do a little at a time, that little bitty area. What I do know is the hammer with those sharp guys on it grabs the metal, and I'm able to manipulate it a lot easier than I was before on the back there with the regular body hammer. Being that I left you on, I might as well show what I got. It's a bit better. It's not great, but it's a bit better. Yeah, I think I'm going to whoop on it some more. And fingertips out of the heat. Ooh, more better. Much more better. Okay. Being that I left you guys on, I'll go ahead and show you what we got here. It's much flatter this way. I no longer have the little kind of a flare coming out. It's pretty rough, but that'll sand. Anyway, I think it's going to be alright. It's better than it was. And I was ready to call it before, so okay, it's better than it was. So I'm pretty glad I didn't call it. It's much flatter down this edge. In fact, it doesn't actually it no longer sticks out looking straight down. It was out originally, yay. Last time I was still about an 1/8 inch. I could see it. Now I can no longer see it. It's flat. Very happy with that. I guess you don't quit till you're happy with it. At any rate, that hammer tears it up. It's pretty rough. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go along and smack my edge right here a little bit and right here a little bit. I got a couple of little spots that are out. The rest of it's pretty good, but those will fold right back. So there it is. I'm happy. Got this thing all shrunk up, and yeah. All right, well, it's a much better deal here. I'm pretty happy with it. May have to use the pointy end on my hammer and knock in a couple of these little weld bits here, but I'm not going to grind them anymore because they'll get too thin. And yeah, I'll just put something on here, and if I come through, I'll smack them in. But much better surface. I'm really happy with it, and yeah. So that's it for today. So thanks for watching.